Hello, dear students. Welcome back. Myself, Dr. Jyoti Shegokar, and you are welcome in my channel, Chemistry in Engineering. Guys, our today's topic of discussion is corrosion. So corrosion is a very much well-known and familiar topic to all of us guys, because I think it has been already studied by you before. But here we have to see what is the actual concept of corrosion. Generally, we would have idea that corrosion is nothing but the rusting of iron. But not only for the iron, but also the number of types of metals can get suffer with such type of a problem, which is called as a corrosion. Now we will study it in detail. Corrosion, first of all, as we know that it is a rusting of iron from this, or the formation of some green colored layer on the copper when it is directly placed into the environment. So what is that? What type of product is that? From where that product comes and how this process occurs? So for that we will study today this topic. Now corrosion, at first, as it is just a process which is occur in the presence of environment. So environment, in presence of environment it occurs, so that's why there must be some of the activity of environment or some of the reaction of environment must be there on the metals. So what type of metals will be corroded, or what type of metals undergoes such type of process? So all the metals can undergo this process. Not only metals can undergo this process, but instead of some noble metals means which includes silver, gold, platinum, these metals which are generally higher type of metals, they are called as a noble metals, not noble gases. So they are called as, because they are not undergoing process of corrosion. So we will see that process in detail. So how that corrosion occurs and why that corrosion occurs. Now if you have idea guys, metal, it is corroded, and metal, it is produced, extracted from the earth. So from where metal is found, where metal is extracted, it is from the earth. In the earth, metal, it is found in the form of ores or minerals. So if you want to write the reaction, here we can write ores or minerals. When the ores or minerals from the environment, from the soil, they are showing such type of properties that there is a presence of metals. So that type of ore is studied and extracted, the metal is extracted from that ore. So here there is a process of extraction occurs manually by human being, no one, any another one. So extraction occurs and formation of here a pure metal is there. So as pure metal is forming here, it can be used for lot of purposes. We know that where there is a use of metal nowadays. So this metal is prepared from the ores or minerals. Now what are that ores or minerals? Ores are the impure form of metal. Under the ground in the soil, when there is a found some properties of metal, some material, if it is found by the scientists, then there carries out the extraction process from that ore. Ore means presence of silica, soil, any type of lime, such type of materials which are present in the soil, and from that the metal is extracted. So this is the process of extraction of metal. So metal is extracted from the soil. As it is extracted from the soil, it is having its natural tendency. So as it is there in the environment, it is from the soil, so it is having its natural tendency, natural process, that it must be just move towards its original state, that is the state of minerals or ores. So when the metal is having its original tendency to revert back into it, so the number of environmental things are helping to that particular process. So metals, when it is placed into the environment, for example, this is one of the metal and it is placed into the environment for some time, and it will not be disturbed. So what will happen after some time, after 1 month or 2 months, when you will see this metal, it will have some type of damages if it is directly placed openly into the environment. So why this occurs? means that metal which was pure at first, it is not now pure. So why this happens? It is due to some environmental agents. So that agents includes number of type of gases which are there in the air, maybe moisture, maybe some type of salts which are present in the air, that will undergo the process of oxidation with this metal, and there is a formation of a product of oxidation. So is there only oxygen? No. With the oxygen, number of gases are present. I just said that there is a presence of air. Is it? So with the air, there are found some carbon dioxides or oxides of carbon, oxides of nitrogen, oxides of sulfur. So according to them, they will react with this metal which is just placed into the environment. And in this way, formation of the some carbonates, sulfates, nitrates, and oxides is there. So this is the process of corrosion. When metal it is placed into the environment, it get decayed or disintegrated by different chemical or electrochemical processes in the as it is in the presence of environment. So its definition, we can say that it is a chemical or electrochemical decay of metal which is occurred in presence of surrounding. So what is corrosion? It is a chemical or electrochemical decay of metal which is in presence of surrounding. It's called as a corrosion. So simply it is a you might understood that this is a corrosion, but whether there is a simple corrosion or any another type or any another can it have a different way to occur? So yes, its answer will be yes, that corrosion can be done by two different ways. Number one is a dry corrosion. This dry corrosion, this word itself indicates that it must be in the dried condition, means there will be absence of any liquid type of media. While this wet corrosion is a corrosion which is in the liquid media or different type of medias are provided there. In that condition only what type of corrosion will occur? That is the wet corrosion. So this dry corrosion, it is also named as a chemical corrosion. And third name is also there which is called as a atmospheric corrosion. So at it is occur in the presence of atmosphere, and chemically there occurs the processes. So it is a chemical corrosion or dry corrosion or atmospheric corrosion. So it should be defined as the decay, particularly the chemical decay of metal which is in presence of atmosphere or surrounding. It is called as a dry corrosion. While this dry corrosion is again classified into two different types, that what type of gases will attack on that metal on that basis. So if only oxygen is there to attack, it is a different type of corrosion. That is, it is corrosion or a chemical corrosion or a atmospheric corrosion or a dry corrosion which is due to oxygen. Means only the products will form in the form of oxides. So that is called as a corrosion or chemical corrosion due to oxygen. While another way is that to carry out the corrosion when another gases are there. For example, carbonates are there, oxides of carbon are there. So when it will be reacted with metal, there is a formation of metal carbonates, metal sulfates, metal chlorides. That type of products will be there. So that is the corrosion which is due to other gases than oxygen. In this case, particularly the silver type of metal can be attacked. As I already told you that it is a noble metal, but it can be attacked by the corrosion due to other gases than oxygen. Not only the oxidation, but can be chlorination occurs in case of a silver. So it is one of the example. Silver, then some tin, SN, it can be attacked by corrosion due to other gases than oxygen, that is chlorides. So SnCl2 or SnCl4 will form. While Fe can be attacked by H2S, Fe. H2S, hydrogen sulfide gas, it will attack on Fe to form the FeS, ferrous sulfate, which is nothing but the another type of corrosion than the oxygen. Okay, so these are the two main classifications of corrosion on the by the dry corrosion. Then corrosion due to oxygen, here I wrote already 4 different names, that is the stable, unstable, volatile and porous. So it is as actually guys, for example, this is a metal. It is a pure metal which is extracted from the ores or minerals, and this particular portion, which is uppermost portion of the metal, is now exposed with the surrounding. It is only exposed with the surrounding, it is considered. So what will happen? This oxygen from the atmosphere, we are studying the corrosion due to oxygen in case of a dry corrosion. So oxygen from the oxygen will attack on this metal to form this metal oxide. So in this way, when metal oxide is formed, it will be on that particular area which was exposed with the surrounding. So in this way, there is the formation of metal oxide. Now, this metal oxide is formed. Is there a particular property of that oxide? Yes. On that basis, the next process of metal or next process of corrosion on metal will be considered or will be predicted, that what type of corrosion will be there nextly. So when once metal undergoes corrosion in presence of atmosphere in this particular area, there is a formation of a metal oxide. While this metal oxide layer is, if it is a stable one, stable means, it means that when once that metal oxide layer is formed, it will remain as such, as it is. It will be there as a protective layer. That means when we coat the metal by the particular oiling or painting or a different type of varnishes are there. So if it is there, it will be protected obviously from the corrosion. So in the same way, when once the corrosion occurs, there is a formation of a stable layer, it will be protective layer. So this is a stable layer which is a protective one. In case of a copper, aluminium, there is a formation of such type of a protective layer which will not allow the next oxygen concentration or oxygen attack on that metal. That means it will not allow to enter the oxygen from the upper side, which is called as a stable layer. While unstable layer, that word itself indicates that layer will not be stable. Means in this case, what will happen? Just the corrosion which is occurred in the silver, gold, platinum again. So I am telling it one number of times that it is not getting corroded, but here examples are the same. So here what happens, see here, this concept is to be studied importantly, that when metal undergoes corrosion, there is a formation of a metal oxide. In this case, it is possible in case of unstable metal. But at the same time, there is a formation of a metal and oxide again differently. It is because the corrosion reaction is a reversible in case of a unstable layer. You might have seen on the silver, there is a formation of some blackish product, which is nothing but the silver oxide. But when we use it, when we try to just remove that product, there is a formation of again silver and oxygen. Means that reverse reaction is there in this case, and again that amount of silver will be as it is, as it was, and a remole of oxygen is there. So in this case, the corrosion is not possible. So that's why the examples are of the noble metals. So I think it must be understood. Then third layer is a volatile layer. In case of volatile layer, this word itself indicates that volatile means its nature is just like a sublimation reaction will occur. So when once, if you might have seen the camphor or some naphthalene, that tablets, when it undergoes the reaction of sublimation, that solid product is directly converted into vapors. Is it? So that is called as a volatilization. It gets volatilizes when it is in the presence of atmosphere. There is no any need of reaction, or we don't want to do, we don't have to do anything. So that is called as a volatilization. So in the same way here, when once this layer is formed, uppermost layer, which is the product of corrosion, in case of a volatile layer, it gets volatilizes, it gets removed. Then next portion will be attacked by corrosion. Again, there is a formation of a next layer. Again, it will get removed. In this way, the layer, as soon as the layer is formed, metal oxide, it will get volatilizes. So in this way, in this case, there is a possibility of destruction of metal in a very short time, as because the product is volatilizes as soon as it forms. So this is called as a volatile layer. It is possible in case of molybdenum oxide. Molybdenum is one of the metal. When it undergoes corrosion in presence of oxygen particularly, it forms a product which is having the nature of volatilization. So that's why the layer which is formed in the molybdenum is called as a volatile layer. Okay. Now guys, there remains the last layer which is called as a porous layer. So for studying porous layer, there is given one piling Bedworth rule. Piling Bedworth rule. It is the rule which is given by piling. So it is one of the rule that just simply what we have to study here, we have to study porous layer. So any layer can be porous. According to piling, any layer can be porous, but some conditions must be done by that layer. Like if this layer which is formed, it must be as great as the volume of that metal itself, then and then only it will be protective or non-porous. Otherwise it will be porous and non-protective. Means porous formation of porous layer, it depends on what? On the volume of that metal oxide. If this metal oxide, it is as great as the volume of this metal itself. For example, this metal is having width, it's 5 centimeter, and the product which is formed for the corrosion, it is 2.5 centimeter, then it will be protective. This is the meaning of this piling Bedworth rule. Otherwise it will be not non-protective or corrosive. Means it is again he has given the number of factors or reasons why this is so, but this is the fact that there is a acting of some surface tension, or the due to width it is not possible to act that surface tension and it will remain as such. But if there is a small or the thin layer is formed, it will be non-protective or porous, and through that pores the atmospheric oxygen can attack on the metal itself, excuse me, and formation of the metal oxide again and again. So in this way we have seen different type of layers which are possible by the corrosion due to oxygen, and also we have seen corrosion due to other gases than oxygen. So completely we have studied here a dry corrosion. Only there remains one thing, that what type of reaction is possible in dry corrosion, and this comes in the mechanism of dry corrosion. Before that we will see just what is a wet corrosion. In case of wet corrosion, for example, if there is such type of a metal strip and here there is a formation of two separate areas, when this metal strip it undergoes the undergoing the process of this wet corrosion, there is a formation of two separate areas in this metal. So you will say how this happens. It will happen by giving the different type of medias or different type of environment to it. So there is a formation of two separate areas. One will be anode, one will be cathode. So it is again depending on the different type of oxidation potential. If two metals are there in this same strip, these two metal will behave differently. One metal will act as an anode, another will be as an cathode. But if in case of a pure metal, there is a action of surrounding. If a pure metal is there and it is dipped partially into electrolytic medium, so it will get two type of medias. One is electrolytic medium, that is a liquid or any type of medium, while another is a gaseous medium. If one of the rod it is buried in the soil, so under the ground there is a different media, above the ground there is a different media. So on that basis also there is a formation of two separate areas. So what how these separate areas which are formed already will behave. So see here, when anode which is formed there, anode will act as it is an anode, it is ready to give electrons. So it will donate electrons and cathode will accept electrons. So in this particular process of donating and accepting electrons, this anode particularly will get corroded. So it will get suffered, this particularly anode, while cathode will totally get protected. So this is the main idea about the wet corrosion, which is also called as a electrochemical corrosion and also called as a immersed corrosion, as the two different type of medias or two different type of material of metal is there. So in this way we have seen here a wet corrosion. So wet corrosion, it can be defined as when there is a formation of two separate areas on the metal. One area will act as an anode, another area will act as a cathode. Anode will get corroded and cathode will totally get protected. So when once this anode will finished itself, there is a time of the cathode again. Now this next metal which is a cathode, again there is a formation of two separate areas in this metal, and then again here there is an anode, here there is a cathode, and reaction will be continued till the metal can totally get destructed. So in this way there is a wet corrosion. Wet corrosion is carried out by two different ways, either by galvanic cell corrosion or by concentration cell corrosion. In galvanic cell corrosion, two different type of materials are there, while in case of a concentration cell corrosion, same material is there but there are two different type of medias. We will see it in detail afterwards, but in this is sufficient for this, that what is the classification of corrosion. Whenever there is a question on classification, just simply write all the definitions with an example of each and every one. So up to this we have seen classification. Now moving towards mechanism, particularly mechanism of dry corrosion, it is asked for 3 marks. So dry corrosion's mechanism it is there, because here there is only reaction of oxygen. So when metal, it is just written as a metal, it may be iron, zinc, copper, any type of metal. So when metal undergoes the process of oxidation process when occurs on the metal, here there is a formation of a M dye positive ion, which is a product of oxidation, because oxidation is nothing but the donation of electron. So when this metal donates electron, there is a formation of metal dye positive ion. Okay, and this metal dye positive ion, due to this donation of electron, they are donated in the environment, so they are accepted by the atmospheric oxygen. So atmospheric oxygen which is there in the environment, half of O2 plus these 2 electrons, and here that 2 electrons gives O dye negative ion, and this is a process of particularly reduction. Whenever there is a oxidation, there must be reduction, so that electrons which are produced by the metal, they are accepted by the oxygen to become O dye negative ion. Again, now both these are the totally unstable, one is positive, one is negative. By writing a net reaction means addition of these 2 reactions. When we see these electrons from this side and electrons from this side will get cancelled, as electrons are taken and these are accepted, means given and accepted. So these will be cancelled and there will remain M plus half of O2 to form M dye positive plus O dye negative ions, which ultimately gives us metal oxide, which is a product of corrosion. We can write in this way also. There is a metal strip in presence of oxygen to give metal strip with a metal oxide. So in this way there occurs the mechanism. So if there is a question for 3 marks on mechanism, just write what is the definition of corrosion, what are the types of corrosion, what is particularly dry corrosion, what is particularly corrosion due to oxygen, and then move towards mechanism. Mechanism is nothing but the imaginary reaction which is occurred in this with a proper proofs. So mechanism is a very important thing to understood the proper, or to understand the proper concept of that particular point. So here we have studied the dry corrosion due to oxygen with this particular mechanism. So in this, when you will write the answer after the definitions, then come towards mechanism and then write down the both reactions. This reaction will be there on anode while this will be on the cathode. So in this case, the on anode metal, you have to write in own words that on anode when metals will give electrons, will donate electrons, they are in the environment and metal forms its M dye positive ion by the process of oxidation, while those electrons which are produced, they are accepted by atmospheric oxygen and it becomes O dye negative ion by the process of reduction. And if we see net reaction, there is a formation of metal oxide as a product of corrosion. So when you write all these things, you will get all the marks. No one is there to cut your marks. So in this way, we have seen all these topics. Now there remains this galvanic and concentration cell corrosion concept, which we will see in our coming next lecture. So I hope guys that you understood all the topics properly, and you will definitely be benefited all the topics when you will study it hardly. So thank you for staying with me. Thank you once again. If you like this video, actually like it, share it to your friends, as well as subscribe the channel if not already, and also hit the bell button if you want such type of videos according to they are uploading. So thank you once again.